Hi guys, so welcome back to Vanguard Discovery Camp, and this year we're going to play with paper, and I've tried to keep it as simple as possible. Some of you may not have fancy art supplies, but here are the supplies you will need: scissors, a pencil, an eraser, a pencil sharpener, or mom and dad with a knife, glue stick, and if you want to decorate things, you can use a marker later. Now, some of you people might not know what this is, but this is the cover to a compact disc, a CD. We use it for music. And the reason I have it here is to help me fold things down, also to press things together really easily. The nice thing about this is, when I'm pressing with it, I can see where I'm pressing. I can see what I'm folding and gluing down. So this is really helpful when you're working with paper or just making a collage. Now, most of you probably have scissors, pencils, and glue, but here's the thing that will make this a little more fun. Colored paper, like you see here. Today we're going to make the Vanguard. And I'm going to work with a blue background because, hey, it's the university's color, right? That's going to be our background. I don't really need it right now. I have made, and my wife and I, we made a couple of, we took some junk mail and made just a simple little sketch of what it might look like. And this is what we're going to go with here. This is what I used to figure out these shapes here. Okay? So, I know that Van has a dark helmet and a dark body. So what I'm going to do first is figure out the paper for the body and the helmet. Now, when you're folding things together, make sure that the corners match, okay? You want to make sure that these two don't overlap, right? So you make this one match, and you make this one match just right. And once you get it down, you can push it down on the table, and if you want to get a little help, one person can hold one corner, the other person can hold the other corner to make sure they're right in place. And I'm sorry you can't see with the camera, but I know you're going to see it when you do yours. Now, I'm going to use my CD cover to press things down and get it exactly right. Now, the trick to folding paper, and folding paper really well, is to make sure you get a good fold. So you see how I'm using my little CD cover to press it down really good. Now, that's not enough. We're not done yet. We've got to fold it over one more time, okay? So, push down, boom. And you're going to get something that looks like this, a really nice crease. That way, you don't have to worry about cutting a perfect little line, right? So I'm just going to start it off a little like this, and then I'm going to start pulling at a 45-degree angle. You probably know what that is if you're in the 3rd grade. I didn't learn about 45-degree angles until I was in the 9th grade. And if you don't know what that is, your parents will help. Remember, when you're pulling away from the paper, you want to pull not straight, not back, but kind of halfway in between, okay? So that's what I'm doing. Pulling away, and I move my thumb along so I get a nice clean rip. So that's it. That's how you fold paper to rip it. And that way you don't have to worry about cutting it exactly. The scissors will come in play later. So that's going to be the bottom part. Now, to make the bottom part, the body, I'm going to fold it again, right? I'm not going to press it down super hard because I don't need that crease. I don't want the crease. And some of you have probably done this before. You know, when you fold something and you make a heart, well, same idea. We're going to make a simple little line, and probably to make it show up easier, I'll use a marker, okay? This is going to be the back, so you're not going to see it, hopefully. And if you use a marker, be careful, because markers will sometimes bleed through the paper or show through. If mine does, that's okay. You'll at least see what I'm doing. So, boom. Yours might be smoother, yours might be bumpier, and that's okay. So now, scissor time. Follow the line as best you can. And if you don't follow the line, that's okay, because everyone's different, right? Now we have our body. We'll put the body just on the paper so we get an idea how big Van is going to look. Save this for later if you want. Maybe you want to make a Mother's Day or Father's Day card, or maybe you want to make horns. Now, the helmet. The helmet is the trickiest part, but I know you can do it, because I did. Remember to line up the corners just right. Let the corners meet. And what I like to do, again, I'll pick one corner, get it exactly where I want it, and I anchor that down with one finger. Hold down the other corner, and then press. Now the helmet's tricky, so I'm pressing down a little more, and I might just press down a little with the folder, but I'm not going to do it both ways because I'm not trying to rip it, okay? It needs to be nice, but not too deep, okay? So this is the hardest part, and we're going to do it in a couple of different parts. First, Van's helmet has a little peak in the middle, and it also has a little crown where the nose is. So you can guess that we're going to draw a little peak here, then it's going to come down a little and then go straight down. But to make it stick up off the page, we need to make a little flap. So we're going to make a flap like that, like this, and then we're going to come down just a little and then straight back to the edge. Now, you may not see it right now with a pencil, so I'll go over it with a marker. Boom. And if your parents know a film called 300, they probably recognize this kind of helmet. Okay, so something like this. You've got the peak, you've got the main part for the head, and this is going to be a little flap. This is where the glue is going to go. We're only going to put the glue right here, so this part kind of sticks up and looks, you know, three-dimensional. And we don't have to draw it on the other side because this is what we're going to cut. So, and if you think that you make a silly face when you're cutting, don't worry, I do the same thing. Boom. Come back around. Down, and if you want to make it a little curved, you can. If you want to make it really sharp, you can. But this is Van's head, right? Now, I'm not going to cut out this part yet because I got to figure out the face, okay? So, to make the face, got to fold a piece of paper again. Wait a second. I've got one already. I think I'll use that a little later. Yeah, I'll use it later. Okay, remember to press down on both sides. And then here we go again, 45 degrees, not super fast. Move your hand each time. Good to go. Now, we're going to fold it again, but we're not going to press it down super hard, and here's why. Take the helmet. We're going to fit the helmet onto the color for the skin. This way we know how big the head is going to be. I'm going to trace it out with pencil just so I know how big it can't be, and then I'm going to cut it a little smaller because the head is underneath or behind the helmet. And I bet you can see the dark pencil on this lighter paper. Does that show up okay? Nice. All right, so I'm going to draw one more line just to make sure I don't make it too big. There. there. And I'm gonna keep the flap roughly the same size as the helmet because it's gotta glue things down. And there. Here we go. Wish me luck. Now, if you're making what I'm making, you don't have to call him Van. You can give him your own name if you want. He could be Dirk the Daring. He could be a she. It could be whoever you want. This is just how to make Van, but you can make your own knight or your own face based on whatever you want. So, I have the skin inside the head, and I'm going to drop it down all the way to the bottom, drop it like it's hot, and now you can't see it. Now I've got to cut out the visor. That's this part here, and that's really pretty easy if you remember what you're doing. Okay, so I know that I want a place for the eyes about right there. The nose guard, the bridge, is going to come there. And so now you can see, maybe, that's where one of the eyes is going to go. Then we cut it down just a little like this, and I'll draw it in like this so you can see it a little better. And yeah, boom. And let's say that's where his eye is going to be. Like that. Okay, now we're not cutting out the eyes here. I just wanted to draw that so you could hopefully see what I'm talking about. Okay. Cut along the line. Or not. Again, it's just about having fun. Houston, we have a helmet. +1, awesome. Kind of a heart shape, that's okay. And you can save this for later if you want. Maybe you want to make an elephant. Okay, now, you see those marks? We don't have marks here. It's okay, because in the final piece, we flip it over. And now it's nice and clean. So, we have the body, we have the head. Now we need to make the shoulders, or pauldrons. Shoulder pads, kind of like a football player. And those are a lighter gray, okay? So, this one's again is pretty, this one is actually probably the second easiest part. You anchor your corner with one finger, get the other finger right, then push down a little with your CD cover or your folder, or you can use your Sharpie. Sharpies are good too. If you use a marker or a pen of some kind, then sometimes the color of the plastic can actually leave a mark. Let's see if I can do it with this. Really old, any old thing will work. I just like using the CD because I can see through it, right? To leave an orange mark. Oh, no orange mark. Sorry. So we rip it in half. Now the pauldrons are going, I'm gonna fold this up again, going as fast as I can. Now, look here, you've got a hard corner, then it goes around. Hard corner and it goes around. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna make some simple, or try to make some simple little round part like this. Now, Van's pauldrons are a little more detailed. They have little flaps and ridges, and there's a red line. I could draw that in later with a marker, but for now I'm just gonna make a simple shape. There we go. Just imagine little layers of metal. If it was one solid pauldron or one solid shoulder plate, it would be kind of clunky. But this way, Van can jump, he can dance, he can do anything. And again, you can make it however you want. You could even put wings on it. In ancient Japan, they had all kinds of decorations on their armor. Sometimes they would have animals on their armor. And there we go. Kind of looks like a giant thing of ice cream. But we're not done yet. We gotta rip it in half or cut it. Now, this one is trickier to rip, so don't start at the top. Start at the widest part so you have more momentum to pull away and rip. But remember, press both sides really good. Get it really creased, otherwise you might rip the paper. Okay? If you're really nervous about it, just use scissors. Boom. So, now we have shoulder plates. Okay, we've got shoulder plates, we've got a helmet, we've got a body. We're almost ready. You know, I'm gonna start gluing things down. I think I'm ready. There is, of course, the eyes and the nose, but we can get things in place. So I like to use a separate sheet of paper to have as a gluing surface. It keeps things clean, and obviously your parents want to keep things clean too. So when you're gluing, if you don't have a glue stick, follow the edge and then go up the middle, okay? So middle and edges. That's a pretty safe bet. If you want to go even further, you can make a little cross brace, like the ancient Romans did when they were building arches. Now we're gonna glue that down to the bottom. And this is where my CD comes in handy because I can push it down really evenly. When you're using a glue stick, you can still kind of move things around, but that's okay. So now, pauldrons, shoulder plates. It almost looks like wings, right? But imagine big shoulder plates like a football player or something. And here's the tricky part. I have ink and pencil on this, so I've got to remember that's the part that I'm gluing down. Okay? So we glue that side. Edges. This one's a lot smaller, so it'll be easier to glue. And it'll want to get away from you. Then what I like to do is connect the top of the corner almost to the top of the body. And then I can move it in or out however I want. And if some of it sticks out, it's kind of cool. Now here's another tricky part, okay? I'm gonna move, oh, this is me. My wife made this. I'm gonna leave this here. And what I want you to think about is this. Which side do you want to put glue on? Well, if you put glue on this side, it'll work out. But if you put glue on this side, it'll only work for there. So you gotta remember what side you need glue on. So I'm gonna take my pencil and remind myself glue. I'll write the word glue or put a G, and that way I know what side I need to put glue on for when I put it on the paper. So I glue it down, or I lay it down and put the glue on. Follow the edges, go up the middle, and you're good to go. Get my piece. I'm putting the corner almost near the top. And they don't have to be at exactly the same angle. If you want, you can use one of your scrap pieces of paper to help push things down too. All right, now we need to get ready for the next step. So, our last part, the face. Now, I'm using black because Van has black eyes, but maybe you want to give your knight, or maybe you want to give your person blue eyes or green eyes or something else. You can do whatever. It's yours. So, I'm going to cut off a little strip of black because that's all I need for the eyes and the mouth and maybe the eyebrows. And I have another little glue stick, and this is going to be my key. Okay, so if I fold this over, this makes a pretty nice circle right there. So I'm going to use this other little glue stick. And if you don't have another glue stick like this, you could use a nickel or a quarter or whatever. So, watch this. See how the paper turns? Nice, huh? Sometimes when you trace around things, it can be really annoying to kind of go all the way around. But if you've got a really good slippery table, you just turn it and you can make your circle. I don't know if you can see that, but I promise it's there. I'm going to make 2 circles for 2 eyes. If you want to give your person 1 eye, that's cool. Or maybe give them 5 eyes. You can make an alien, you can make a robot, you can make anything. So, hopefully you can see this, right? I've drawn 2 circles. So it's easier to cut. I'm going to cut this big piece away and just focus on cutting out the eyes. Cutting out circles is always a trick, and there's no perfect way. It's just about practice. But again, it's your eyes. It's your face. You can make it however you want. If you want to give it lizard eyes, if you want to give it frog eyes, you can do that. Okay, so we're going to cut out our second eye, and hopefully I can do better this time. And if not, that's okay. Now, some of you might be thinking, Thomas, why didn't you just fold it? Because, well, I like it to be a little different. Because if you look at the human face, it's not the same. This eye is a little higher than this eye, and this nose, or my wife always tells me how my face is a little crooked when I smile. So, yeah, it's okay. Now I'm going to cut off a little bit of white for the white of his eyes. And the way to do this, I am going to fold. I am going to fold it for sure. The eyes don't need to be super duper big. I'm going to put this down here, and here's how I'm going to do this, okay? I'm going to take my pencil and draw a little eye shape. So, I got something like that. Now I'm going to fold it in half so these are closer to being the same. Okay? And then I just follow along the lines. And like I was saying before, how the face is not perfectly symmetrical. Again, it's okay if you don't get it right. Okay, so almost done. Boom! Got it. So, now this comes the trickier gluing part. If you have someone to help hold things down, great. If not, that's okay. You can do it. What you want to do is put your helmet down on the paper and figure out where you want your eyes, right? If you want to make things easier, go ahead and glue down the eyes before you, glue down the black part of the eyes first, okay? So, make sure you mark it which side you want glued. I'm putting a little G on it so I can remember. And I'm going to flip it over to where they're the exact same kind of angle, right? Just like that. So, you look here, this doesn't quite look right. So I've got to flip it over like this. So this little pointy part meets where the nose is. See what I mean? Okay, so I put G on that one, put G on that one. Now I'm ready to glue that. But we're not done yet. Got to glue down the black part. Almost done. This has been fun. I hope you guys are enjoying it. one down. And the nice thing about this part is you don't have to worry about what side you glue down. And boom, got it. Now I glue it to his face. So I've already got G marked on the back. Put that there, put that there, that there. Oh no. And accidents are gonna happen, and that's okay. Now, we get the helmet, get the face, get it lined up just right to make sure you know where you want to put it, and you're good to go. Just like that, and hopefully you can see this. I'm going to put the eye kind of inside the helmet and move him around just a little. Hey, what do you know? Like that. Now, I'm going to press it down really good, and it's glued down. I can cut a little bit of extra black for eyebrows. And for the eyebrows, I'll make it about the same. I'm not going to draw it out. I'm just going to, well, I'm going to just kind of eyeball it. Eyeball. So for the eyebrow, it can be as bushy as you want, and maybe you don't even want to give him eyebrows. But Van has eyebrows, so I'm going to go ahead and give him eyebrows. Okay, and remember to put the G on the side that has glue. So we want it like that, so I want a G on that, G, and G. Grab your glue stick, glue that, fold it up, and we've got one, we've got two eyebrows, and he almost looks kind of angry, so I'm going to tilt his eyebrows up just a little, but then I'll give him a smile later so it won't look scary. Van's a pretty cool guy. I've met him. Now, I'm doing something your parents may not want you to do. I'm rubbing my gluey fingers on my shirt. But if you have a towel or a napkin or a piece of paper, you can rub your gluey fingers on that, and it's fine. Now, you might think you glue the face to the helmet, but you don't. We're in the home stretch. And I've used this paper a bunch, so I don't want to glue this part down. I don't want to glue this on this part because it has lots of glues. What I do is I fold it over. If I just turned it over, I'd glue it to the table. So let's don't do that. So now I have a nice clean surface, and I'm not using too much paper. The way to make this work, wait a second. I forgot a mouth. A mouth. And the mouth can be whatever you want. He can be smiling. He could have, you know, rooster teeth. He could have whatever. I'll give him a smile like mine, kind of crooked. And we also got to make a nose. So let's go ahead and glue that mouth to the face. Hey, he's kind of smiling. Now, the nose, right? To make a nose, it may seem kind of confusing at first, but it's really pretty easy. You cut a thin piece like this, fold it in half, and then you're going to draw a line. Because you don't want a square, sharp edge nose, I'm just going to draw a little line like that. Then cut along, boom. And the way I made this nose is, after I cut out the shape, I bend it back. And so this is how it's going to stick out. I'm going to glue part of this to the inside, like this. Okay. And I'm going to trim off those little corners, like that, and like that. And if you find that sometimes the glue sticks to your scissors, your parents can help you clean your scissors by using alcohol. Rubbing alcohol can clean this pretty easily with glue. You could use water, but then it might rust, and you don't want a rusty pair of scissors. Rubbing alcohol is the best. So, I got the hump for the nose. I'm going to glue the back part. I'll glue, this is the back part. Just rub a little glue on there. Because I don't want to fold it so much, I'm holding it with my finger, right? I don't want it to be just this little crease. So now I figure out where I want to put the nose. And the nose goes in between the eyes, right? And I can push down with a pencil, or if you have, part of the scissor, you put the scissor into the little hole to push it down to make sure it's glued right. Okay? So now let's put our helmet on Van's face and see how it looks. Not bad. Yeah. His eyebrow's kind of sticking out, so guess what? Just cut it off. And there. Now, here comes the very last part. We're going to glue down the flaps, okay? The flaps are what keep the head and the helmet down. So you fold it along that edge, just like that. And here, just like that. And so that's going to be glued to the paper, and this kind of sticks out. And we're going to do the same thing with the head. Okay? See how smooth it is? That's what you really want. Okay? Now, the first part to glue, to make it easy, is to put a little glue right on the inside of the helmet. Just like this. Okay? Not the whole piece, just the fold, about right here. Okay, you're going to do that for both sides. Can you see that okay? Right there and right there. And then you fit the head in the fold, just like this. You fold that down and you fit it right up against it, like that. And that's how you know you got it in place. Then you take the other one and you fit that fold up against that one. And see how it sticks out? That's okay. We'll put it back on. Now, once we got those glued pretty good, we fix our nose just in case. Maybe I didn't put enough glue on there. Really good glue that time. Whole bunch of glue. And we're gonna slip it under the helmet. And then push it down. And there. His nose is protected by the helmet, his face is protected, and he's got kind of a smile. Now, to put it down on our background, we're almost done. The very last part to glue is the gray part of the fold. Okay? Watch here. I glued the corner, but I'm going to put a little extra glue here to make sure the face stays, like this. To make sure that sticks. I'm going to do the same here. The first part of the gluing was just to make sure I got it in place. The second piece of glue is to make sure it really stays. Then, okay, we're going to glue just this part on both sides, like this. Sorry. Almost got it. Like this. And Vanguard. Fold the flap back and figure out where we want to put the head. And again, if you got tiny fingers, it helps. But if you don't, you can push down the flaps with your scissors like this to get them right in those little crevices to push down on the flaps. So I'm going to do that. If you don't want to use the scissors, you can use a pencil. Push down really good. And there's the Vanguard. But you see here, he's got a sword. How do you make the sword? Easy. You can take paper, you can take colored paper, but I'll take gray. And to make the sword, you take a long piece like this, fold it in half, and you can draw the sword if you want, or you can just make your own design. So this is the design roughly I made for the sword. It's a straight 1.5-hand sword. So this little hump here, that would be his hand holding it. Let's cut it out. And then we're done. We glue it down and you've got the Vanguard. Now, the one little trick I have to the sword is I didn't glue it down all the way. The only part I glued on mine was the hand. That way the sword can kind of stick out. And you'll see what I mean here right after I glue it down. So, part that I marked on, here's the hand. I'm going to glue down just where the hand is, here and here. So, just glue on the bottom. And if I remember right, Van is right-handed. So I'm going to put it on his right, my left. And, true believers, there's the Vanguard. I hope this helped. I hope you could do it too. And drop by the university and show me what you made sometime if you have something. Thanks.